Hey there, we're the Markhams, Chris, Andrea, and our adventure dog, Emmie. We're combat veterans who met in Afghanistan, sold our house after 7 amazing years, and now we're hitting the road to explore every corner of America. From stunning national parks to hidden caves, we're on a non-stop adventure, making memories and chasing sunsets. Set off on an unforgettable adventure across America with us and our dog, Emmie. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any moments. Markham's on the move, hotel edition, short-lived, thank goodness. Emmie made it clear that hotel life just isn't her thing. Since she's ready to roll, and honestly, so are we.
We're on our way to pick up the camper.
The day has finally arrived.
It's 8:27 in the morning, and we weren't supposed to be there till 9. So if you can't tell that we're excited, we're excited.
Yep. It's been 84 years at this point.
It's been a long time.
It's been 3 weeks, but it feels like 84 years. And 3 days in a hotel with a dog, it just ain't for us anymore.
Emmie is not a hotel dog. She is definitely an RV dog.
Yep. Oh my God.
She misses her side deck. I miss my bed.
I miss our bed and my kitchen, but we finally got the A-OK to come and get it yesterday around like what, noon?
Yeah.
We've been in Elkhart since Tuesday and it is Thursday, and we're gonna be here until the following Monday just to put our house back together, because if you've ever had factory work done, you know that it gets dirty, and they do their best to put it back together, but it's never the same.
And they kind of took our whole like garage, the wall, dividing wall, or we think they took the dividing wall apart and put it back together, and that's where our freezer sits, and
Yep.
they took the freezer out, took all the food out of it.
Yep.
So we're gonna be there for a bit trying to get things put together.
A process.
Yeah.
But we got the Lippert report. We'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, I want to do the walkthrough before we actually.
We have questions regarding the Lippert report and what they said, and if you've ever gotten a Lippert report, yours was probably just as vague as ours was, so.
Yeah, talk about vague book.
Super helpful.
It'll be interesting.
Yep. I just hope that it's fixed and we're done coming to this lovely town.
I think even if it's not fully fixed, Andrea's still going to boycott coming back here.
Yep. I'm looking at you, Chase.
Yeah. We know welders now.
Like, no.
There's a few people in this town that we like, but we don't like the town. The town itself is not our style.
It's very industrial, so there's not like a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 weeks here 10 months ago, so, you know, we did a lot of stuff then. Now we're just like, ho-hum. Yeah. What do we do?
We finally found a good brewery. We're not beer people, but the brewery had really good food and cocktails, so.
You did get to knock out a aqua hot training yesterday too, though. So we made lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah, when our date got pushed, we were thinking about canceling that training, but I'm glad I did it. It was a lot of information in an 8-hour period.
If you know anything about aqua hot trainings, they are not offered very often, and they're not offered in a whole lot of locations other than Colorado, and Colorado's already gotten snow, so we're good.
Yeah, but the RVTI facilities are very nice.
We're almost to Alliance, so we'll give you an update once we're done.
Yeah!
Say bye.
Oh yeah, bye guys. Now let's get hooked up, huh? Well, never mind. Sorry, we gotta unload everything first. Then we can get hooked up. Emmie will be a happy dog.
So we are going to go do a walkthrough of everything that was fixed and was supposed to be fixed at our factory date. So that's between Alliance and Lippert. We got to see both of them.
So that trim piece had been rubbing into the wood and, I don't know,
The ceiling.
paneling on the ceiling. Basically, they just cut it shorter and didn't re-secure it, or they used a nail gun and shot right through it, probably somewhere on the roof. So I had to re-tack it down with a braided trim nail.
And then this wall would pop out on us all the time when we would drive. Every time we would get to a new place, you'd have to push this whole piece of paneling back in place.
Like basically it was smooshing.
Yep.
So it was popping out in the middle. This door frame cracked, so they replaced the door or the frame.
So it cracked.
In the corners?
Right up in this corner. Like right here.
There was welds up there that cracked.
Yep.
And then this wall on this side blew apart. Basically it split right up here somewhere, straight across that way. And this door frame pretty much
came apart.
This basically ripped out of the frame and broke.
The bathroom is where the main event took place.
Yeah, this basically from here across, it split the whole wall, basically smushed.
Yep.
It split on this side, the trim split right down the side. That trim piece up on the roof or ceiling was doing the same as in the fireplace, rubbing through everything. So they replaced the paneling, trim pieces. Our little investigation, I could shake this whole room.
Yep.
Like basically all these walls would shake. And so we pulled this panel off and these trim pieces, and this stud here for this wall was not secured to the exterior wall on the aluminum tubing.
Yep.
So I had to add, a lot of screws to suck it back in, and it doesn't move anymore. And then I had to do the same up on this wall. This paneling came off, and I had to re-secure this wall to this wall with more screws, actual like wood screws instead of just these thin little self-tappers. And when they went in and fixed everything, they took this ceiling panel off and opened up the roof to the rafters, and I don't know if it was 1, 2, 3 rafters, I don't know how many, were unsecured and fell over. So we had a sag up on the roof that was not good. There were staples coming out. You could see in front of our rear AC, there was a good dimple in the roof along that line between 2 rafters apparently that were still good. They were able to not go up on the roof and have to replace anything up there. They just basically rolled the rafter back into place and re-secured it. So now if anything like that happens again, I can just punch out this little paneling. Yep. They built this for an access point basically, so I'll be able to go inspect it from there if I need to.
But the whole main event really was, unfortunately, that main wall that the fireplace is on.
Yep.
Wiggling.
Yeah,
away.
It's basically like a room in itself just was coming off of the whole foundation, which if you think about that, that's bad.
Yep.
Luckily it wasn't like a frame flex issue, it was just wall flex from the ceiling being...
It could also have been from our axle hanger issue, which we'll go outside and talk about as well. They did say that our axle hangers, they weren't done properly the first time, and we'll explain more, we'll show you and point out things, but that wall that was separating sits over the axles, so it could be the culprit, but no one said anything specific.
Well, when our suspension was basically bottoming out into those hanger tubes, something had too much give in it, and the way that they fixed their mess up in production of this camper, it was really stupid on Lippert's part, I'll say that.
We'll go out and show you and explain like how it was and how they redid it.
So basically they took off our crush tube, which is to strengthen the suspension and the frame, so the axles aren't basically mounted to your frame. They're mounted to these tubes, which are kind of web welded on. Had to take these crush tubes off, and the hangers, obviously. They basically dropped our whole axle. Took everything off of our suspension, because when they made our frame at Lippert, they put the axles in the wrong spot per Alliance's specs, and their fix for it was to cut the sections of tubing off where the hangers were and the V-brackets, and then weld new tube in there. So there were, new welds here, wherever they cut. And if anyone knows, that basically weakens the system. Solid tubing is always going to be stronger. 4 sections, I believe, on each tube that had been messed up and repaired in that form, and they had used 11 gauge steel tubing on the old one. So on this new tube, it is 7 gauge, which is far stronger, far thicker, obviously. So basically this whole system is stronger and thicker than the old one was. Both sections are now, it's like 100 inches or something like that. It's like 112 inches of tubing from
the axle hanger,
from the front of the axles all the way to the back. In that fix, they had to re-weld our leveling system onto the frame, and they repainted, put our suspension system back together, messed up one of the zerts and put it on backwards. So Lippert had to send out a tech to put a 90-degree fitting on there, because I wasn't about to do it when it's their job.
Yep, so we had a Lippert tech out literally the next day when we got to Elkhart after we picked up the camper. And unfortunately, the tech was like, this isn't the dumbest thing I've seen. Our
shackles and springs would bottom out into the crush tube, and it was damaging our underbelly, the foam. It was getting close to our black tank, our rear black tank valve.
It hit enough that we had holes. It was putting holes in our crush tube.
Yeah, it was crushing our crush tube, basically. And this suspension's only supposed to have 3 inches of movement. There was evidence of that almost on every axle. Lippert had to do their measurements to check for frame camber and all those issues. And we didn't have any camber issues, but they found the crush tube issues, obviously. So they replaced half of our underbelly from the rear to just in front of our front axle. So we have half a new underbelly and half an old underbelly.
And then they also thought it was a good idea to tie our brake line wiring to the axle.
Yeah, you can see it right there.
We're gonna fix that, because with past experience and all the movement our axles have had, we don't have a whole lot of trust in it being right there.
My most favorite part is they failed to secure sections that had been secured previously of the underbelly, and then see that spray foam line going down towards the fresh tank dump. They just spray foamed it. They didn't, replace it or
tape it or anything.
Tape it.
So it's just spray foam holding 2 pieces together.
Yep.
To keep it closed. We have a lot of work left to do.
Yeah.
And this is just the outside stuff. This doesn't even talk about the condition the RV was in when we got it back from the factory. And this was our second go around at the factory. So our first go around was nothing like this. Our first go around, our OG factory team, they're amazing. I wish they would have been the ones to do our structural work. We don't get to choose, but we do miss them, and we do miss the work that they did, because they were great. They gave us our RV back in better condition than when we left it. I spent literally 3 days straight cleaning. We found trash that wasn't ours in places that trash wasn't supposed to be. Like
battery boxes. We had pop bottles in there. I had caulk and glue all over the floor of my bathroom and my toilet seat.
The main floor had caulk everywhere. I had to use Goo Gone everywhere and then mop.
Andrea had deep cleaned the camper before we dropped it off, so that it would, we'd get it and we'd be able to just kind of pack and go like we did the first time.
Yep. And we have heard from other people who have Alliance who've had to go back in for a second time for structural warranty, and they've said the same thing, that their first time with the factory warranty fixes, it was great. The second time, not great.
Yeah.
So
there's a big difference between their factory repair team and their
structural
production repair team. And their production repair team has been around a lot longer than their factory repair team. So
is it complacency?
Yeah, it's interesting. A lack of quality control in my eyes. The other team, I went in there Friday to get a part that we needed for trim.
Yeah, 'cause
And
they didn't do it.
I was in there with the factory team, and they're deep cleaning all the campers that are getting sent out. Ooh, you should go over the hauler situation.
I'll go over the hauler situation. So being that our rig had to go to Lippert to get the axles fixed, obviously we were up in Minnesota, so a hauler had to haul our RV from Alliance to Lippert, and apparently Lippert built a new facility that is like an hour away. And in case you don't know, Alliance uses Indiana Transport as their hauler company, and they are all contracted haulers within Indiana Transport, so that's how it works. And I know this because I reached out to Indiana Transport and asked. When we got our RV back, they had broken a cross that I had painted about 7 years ago in Mexico. It was very securely attached to what it was on, and it had been around the country for 3 years on, Louisiana's great roads, Iowa's great bridge decks, like everything. It made it through Chicago
multiple times.
I don't know if they're taught to drive like Fast and Furious or defensive driving, whatever, but we had propane tanks that shifted so far forward. They weren't even on the stand anymore. My cross broke. There was just stuff everywhere.
So I was explained to it how the local transporters are paid. They're paid by basically the RV that they move. The quicker they move these RVs from spot to spot,
the more
quicker
money
they can get to the next one, and the more money they make. So they are basically driven to move as many RVs in a day as they can. I guess that kind of works against us in that situation.
But I did get an email back from the director who, when I sent him my thoughts on the great driving skills of their drivers, he said he will look into who the driver was to review the situation. But in that information, he said that they all have $1 million insurance policy. That's cool. I don't care. So does he to be an RV tech. Like, that still doesn't make it okay to treat someone's piece of property like
it's
crap.
Garbage.
And then I also asked, I'm like, you realize like you're hauling around a 20,000 pound RV. Like, that's lethal to drive like that. And he goes, well, all of our drivers have to have a CDL in order to haul anything over 20,000 pounds. I'm like, that's still, like, doesn't make it okay.
I am a truck driver by trade, and I definitely know that just because you have a CDL does not mean you're a good driver. I've seen it for the last 18 years, how these CDL drivers think just because they have a license they can drive.
So
terrible.
I've yet to get any information other than that back from Indiana Transport, but that's who Alliance uses. It's Indiana Transport. So if you've ever had an issue with them, I strongly encourage you to reach out to them and let them know how much you appreciate them or not.
We don't appreciate them.
No.
Just so everybody knows.
God forbid we ever have to go back to the factory. We will stay local so I can haul our own RV to where it needs to go if it has to go back to Lippert.
Andrea pulls the RV once or twice a year, and she can do it far better than they can. So.
And then, with that being said, we don't know whether it was the hauler or Lippert when they took our axles off, but our TPMS system, they completely sheared off one of the sensors on the middle tire. So
we have flow-through tire minders, so the sensor itself is probably about 1.25 inches. So you have to lay the tires on the back side, on the inside side, in order to not break off the sensor. And whoever did it wasn't paying attention and flopped it down on the front side. Now they're paying for us to have to get new sensors.
Yeah, so Alliance took the bullet on that one and is going to reimburse for it, even though it has nothing to do with them. So
it's not their fault, but they're stepping up because that's what Alliance does. They're pretty darn good at that kind of stuff. They back everything 100%, which is great. Like, this video isn't a rip on Alliance. It's a rip on that one team.
It's just the difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference, and it's just like, where's the disconnect? Everything should be the same across the board. And I know they just went through some changes in leadership and stuff like that, so I get that. The team had been together for a long time, so you'd think that it would be across the board just same or similar.
Or, better quality control, essentially. So, and our PDI wasn't even really a PDI. They basically read off the list that we already were tracking, told us their fixes, but, like, they didn't walk us to anything. They just stood around like our kitchen island like we were with them the whole time that they did it, and we weren't. I actually asked specific questions and made the people who did each specific thing like show me what you did. I will say that the other thing we definitely noticed between the two teams, so like our OG first time at the factory and this time, is the first time whenever we would go in to like look at our RV, they would be like, do you guys want to see what we did? Like they were so excited to show us what they found, what they were fixing, how they fixed it, compared to when we picked up and did the PDI and they just stood around our island and read off the list. So there was like no care about the work that they did.
There's no pride.
Yeah.
First team definitely has and had pride in what they do.
So, let us know if you've had the same experience below between the two different teams. We absolutely love our OG team. They know it.
Yep.
we
let
visit
them
them
know
every time we go. That was our experience this time around, but we finally have it back. We made it a little further south, and now it's time to wrap up our projects on. Thanks for joining us on another adventure. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button so you don't miss any of the fun. See you next time.